Hi, you guys. Welcome in, everybody. Guys, do you want to see what I'm wearing? Got my backpack. Got my bucket hat. Show me to me. We got Peak ready. We're going to adventure today. Call me Dora the Explorer. Hi, Ash. I love it. Look. We're ready. We're going on a trip. This is the backpack I use to go to like festivals. It has a attachment. Water. Yum. All right, we're gonna get started with Kevin. Hi, babe. Welcome in. Kevin's here. Okay, let's see. Hello. Did you throw this at me, Beyond? Hey. What? You can't hear me? No, I took it off. Hello? Okay, good. I just reset it. I had it off, but Kevin, I'm in Jungle Adventure Drag.
Do I have to change?
No, look, just look at my stream. Hi, CJ.
Hold on.
I am ready for peak.
We're peeking together.
I got a bucket hat on. I got a canteen backpack on.
Wait.
A hoodie on. I'm ready. I'm ready for this adventure. Welcome in, CJ.
Now I want to go get my bucket hat.
Thank you for all the shouties. Glitter me, what's up? Welcome in. Yeah, get your check-in. And go say hi to Kevin. We're playing with Kevin today. Yeah, put on a bucket hat so we can
Dead ass, I will.
Oh yeah, and I have to get my cheek for today. I'm so excited. Although you're gonna hate it, but it's the jungle.
Fuck.
You could hear Kevin in the back. Hi Paris, welcome in. Paris, look, I saw you've been playing Peak, so I've been playing. It rubbed off on me. Kevin is not dressed for inclement weather. He's not dressed for fart. Cutie patootie core, yeah. Wait, I know how to do this. Hold on. Hi, Spookies. Don't worry, we're getting Kevin ready now. The characters are so cute. I love the Peak characters. The fact that Roblox tried so hard to deal it is great.
Wait, how am I gonna wear I have to put my AirPods on. Yeah, it's my AirPods on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, Bucket Hat Twins.
Hold on to your chonies real quick.
My chonies are held. Maybe we should take a selfie. Guys, take a look at my little guy. I have sharp teeth, big glasses. Hi, Allie. Oh. No, that's not what I wanted. Thank you for the check-in. But I can't hear Kevin. I can't hear you. Kevin, I'm putting the hardest level on. Goodbye. I'm just kidding.
Ew! Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Jesus.
Okay, wait. Let's take a selfie.
Wait, what did I miss? Wait, what did I miss? Hold on. Okay. So Kia, I love the mystery man, but Kevin's not dressed for inclement weather. I'm not.
Okay.
He's so cute. I have the mushroom hat, Kevin. I do. I have a mushroom head.
Well,
Pause.
yes.
The hat. Well, yes.
I think we all have a mushroom head.
Fucking Victoria just as I can.
Dude, I can't.
How do you do the things again? O R. I always want to push E.
I like this hat and I like the B. Yeah, the bucket hat. The bucket list. The bucket lists.
It feels so weird. It feels so weird wearing AirPods. Justin looks like my grandpa just fishing.
Not your grandpa.
That's what I'm looking for.
Girl.
Hi, Ellie. Girl.
Back in my day.
You can't hear Justin?
Oh.
We still can't hear Justin yet?
Maybe they can't hear the peak
Really?
audio. Maybe your peak audio is not working.
Oh my god, there it goes. You're so smart. Oh my god.
Okay, let's get Bing Bong. Let's take a picture.
No game audio! Okay, I'm ready.
No
How do you start it?
Hit the console.
It's starting. Okay. Okay.
Do a flip!
Oh my god, how do you do a flip?
Go to the second page. Go to the second page.
No!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Look at the picture.
How do we
Hi,
look at it?
Spooky. No, it's in your. You have to look in your Steam gallery.
Oh, that's too much work. I'll look at it.
Go to hit R and go to the second page. That's on the bottom.
Hey. Oh!
Oh hell yeah! And then I think it's like 1 in 4
Period.
chance that you like face plant.
Fall. Oh?
Or like half and half.
I meant notes. I meant to type no game audio, but didn't hit shift hard enough, so it said no game audio. Justin said hi to me.
I said hi like 5 times,
you
but
ready,
you couldn't
bro?
hear, Spooky. Yeah, I'm ready. Do you just want to do the regular
Okay.
one?
Whatever. I'm down for whatever.
Wait,
I feel
go here.
we
Go here.
Held it down.
And then check to see if you unlock the next level.
Ascent 1.
There you go. Let's do that one. What does it say?
Period. I'm scared.
No, we got this. Okay, Kevin's gonna carry. Kevin was so good. OMG, 5 highs in silence in front of my salad and everything. I know, Spookies, I'm sorry. Hi everybody, how's everybody doing?
Slurping.
Oh. Fuck, the plane crashed!
My
Oh my
gosh,
God,
on
not
the
me.
fucking jellyfish?
Not me spawning on the jellyfish, like what the hell?
Not you eating the jellyfish like it's groceries.
Not...
It's crazy.
Oh, we got cookies off rip. Put them in my...
Period.
What's in here?
Should I take the lantern?
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
I want to carry Bing
The
Bong.
tone has been set. Wait, guys, don't clip that.
Clip me in. Clip me just in the fucking jellyfish. Oh hell no. Oh hell no!
Back the fuck up.
Back the fuck up. Back the fuck up.
Let me drop one for you. I can only carry this much.
Okay, where's my
This
fire?
is all that fits me, and I already hurt myself.
Oh right.
This is not starting off great.
Just use the bandage.
Double. Okay.
Yeah, we need all the stamina.
So when we fall, it's worse. Like our damage it gets worse.
Yeah, we'll take more damage when we fall. Yeah. Maybe the landing is softer on your mushroom
the
hat.
landing softer. See, you want me to land tip first? It's crazy.
That sounds painful as fuck.
Okay.
Cookies are cooked.
Healed. I think I'm good.
I'm gonna eat the. Well, we should just eat the rest of these marshmallows. These
Okay, fuck it then. I'll eat one of these marshmallows.
Oh, oh. Oh, fuck!
So what did we learn?
I can't fly. I can't swim.
Was it the Chad?
No, I think it was. It was the Coke.
Give us settings.
Give us, dude. I said that today at work. I literally today at work was like, give us the rings.
Oh, I love that movie. I feel like nobody gets quotes from that fucking movie. Same brain. So is there more damage because of an update? No. So when you if you do this in regular mode, like not tadpole mode, you end up and you make it you peak whatever.
Yeah.
You end up making it to you unlock another level, which is a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And once you do that one, you complete it. You unlock another level.
And it literally they compound. They like add one on top of the other.
Yeah. So like this one, whenever we fall, we get more damage. But I'm guessing the next one is like we get hungry faster, probably, or
yeah,
the fog is faster as you keep going up.
Yep. And then there's one that's like everything is heavier, so like you get like everything weighs more.
You trying to kill me?
No, I was just.
You trying to fucking kill me?
You're trying to fucking kill me. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Ooh, interesting. Yeah. Let's go.
And we have prox chat on, so it's gonna be so funny to hear each other from far away.
Huh?
Exactly.
What?
What?
Okay. Oh my god. Guys, I was talking to Ryan on the phone today when I was working out, and he said something so funny, I almost dropped a weight on my face.
Oh.
Yes. I was mid bench press, and what did he say?
The way we sound like we're in a
Fuck.
cave.
And he said something to me, and I fucking giggled so much that I had no strength. I had
That's
no
so
strength
funny.
to hold it up, and I was like, yeah, I almost died. Great time.
Great times. Give us the rings.
Oh, because I told him, I was like, what, did you have an Alani? And he's like, I was like, did you have an Alani? He's like, did I eat a salami? A salami?
I'm
and
dead.
I was like, oh my god, no. Not the salami. Not the fucking salami.
Not who's gay?
Who's gay?
Billy Mays.
Billy Mays. Oh my god.
Dude, I'm so excited for that movie too.
I know, I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we can
Billy
make
Mays?
this.
Oh my god. Okay.
Me trying to grab by your mushroom.
Grab my tip. Let me eat this real quick.
That's crazy.
Do we make it?
Yeah. But there's like scary spikes here, so let's go around.
Okay. Do you think it gets harder, or like Or is it the same exact map for everybody?
It's
in
the
every
same map.
fucking
It's just
level?
all these other status effects are different. Okay, I had to use some extra.
Grab me! Brother!
Brother! Stop! Long live the king!
Oh my god.
Oh, bandages.
Really scarred me. Do you need some? No, you twitching.
Thank you. Oh, I was doing the dance.
You're shaking your ass.
Yeah, I was,
You're twerking it.
I was working for the bandage.
Do you
Working,
think
I'll
it gets
work
hard
for
as
heels.
crazy? Twerking for heels? All twerk, no heels. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, you're slipping through my fingers.
Your little fingies. Okay, Butterfingers.
Should we go this way?
Oh, did you make it?
Yeah. Period.
Yeah, we can go right up here.
I hate that I'm like doing my tippy toes IRL. Right now I'm sitting down. I hate this game.
This game stresses you out so much. Here, I'm up.
Which way did you go?
Around the right side.
Just around the river bend?
Just
Oh.
around the river bend.
Me.
Oh man, real true. Wait, let's
why
go
am I
this
like
way.
this?
The way that my character in Sims that we played yesterday, we have a pet raccoon, and I was like, okay, on our Pocahontas shit. A pet raccoon.
I need to watch Pocahontas. That's such a good one.
Mm,
The
the
music
music
is so
is so
great.
good, yeah.
Oh. I don't know about this.
Here, this way.
Can we... Have you ever gotten killed by the fog because you took too long?
Oh, yes. And basically the fog just makes you cold. Like, you just get cold then.
Oh, you freeze?
Yeah.
Ew.
Do you think it gets
Justin, how many
harder? It's crazy.
levels have you did?
I'm on 7.
How
Isn't
many
that
levels
crazy?
have you done? 7? Try 8. That's crazy.
I think I'm on Ascent 7 if I do remember correctly.
Oh my god, the scream. Hi! So
Hi
imagine that
guys. Oh. How are you? Dogs, how you been? Welcome back. Get that Banovator out of me.
Okay, that was a fail.
Cute hat. Yeah, we're on our peak shit. Me and Kevin are dressed. We're dressed for adventure.
We're dressed to impress.
No Roblox. Here, we can go. We have to go back this way. Because sometimes being at the edge of the mapping.
So, are you dead ass about the roots?
No, I'm being so dead ass. I think that's why the main menu screen is the roots.
Fucking shit falls.
I know, but you were so good at it last time. I had dental surgery the day
no,
before my
boo.
birthday. Oh, we love to see it. Well, at least you have nice teeth. What kind of surgery? Did you get your wisdom teeth removed? There's a ledge right up here. Oh. Damn, the way I did not need to climb. It's crazy. You're just walking.
Oh. Do we gotta go this way?
No, I think we can... No, we can...
Can't go
Oh,
straight
wait,
up, can we?
actually... Well, look, you see the smoke. We're this way.
Oh, period.
Started going to the Cairo, and that's been good, but I missed because of my wisdom.
Oh!
teeth, and I heard... Oh, you did go get your wisdom. I have no braces on right now. Wait, did you ever have braces? I didn't even know you were wearing braces. Since when?
Can we go this way?
I don't know. Hold on. I'm investigating. I'm inquiring within. Oh yeah, there's a ledge here, friend. Come up this way.
There's a what?
A ledge. There's a
let me go
snake
that
in
way.
my boot. My teeth are straight. I
Is it
just need to fix
divergent
my
now?
bite. Yeah, I need to get some mouth guards because I grind my teeth.
Oh my god, I thought you were gonna jump off for a sec.
Imagine trying to pick you up.
Yeah, here, I got you. Okay, Robin, how you doing, cutie?
I'm doing so good,
I
guys.
feel so hard at this game.
Better now that I'm with Kevin, you know? Kevin makes everything better.
You make me cry.
Oh,
Stop
God.
lying!
Don't make me drink alone.
I'm not the greatest at this game.
The way you're trying to grab me and it and it's not working. This way. That's
Not the
it's crazy
greatest.
coming from the only survivor of the Roots map.
I don't know how I did it.
I don't know how you
but I am
survived,
ass.
but we did it.
I am what I eat.
Well,
Well, so what now?
so what now? Alright, what's our magic item? Let's see.
Oh my god, that's what we needed. Let's use it now.
An effigy. Yeah, let's use it now.
Can I put it? Oh wait, let me put it in here.
Yeah, you have a lollipop. Lick me like a lollipop.
I want the weenie.
Well,
Thank you for the follow.
one of us
Thank you,
gotta have the
appreciate
weenie.
you. I have a place.
the
I have a
craziest
warm,
stream.
tight place for it.
Oh, yeah, my backpack, my pocket.
My pocket.
Oh, I lied. It's not Roots. It's Tropics. Guys, we're so
Thank
back.
God.
We are so back. I got nervy
Gosh
for a
damn
second.
it, I was. Wait, are the green ones bad?
I think so. Who cares? Just try it.
You burn this bitch. I made it to the first base camp solo, but in groups with others, I just fell. See, I'm better with other people. When I'm by myself. Kevin wants the weenie. I'm a weenie.
He was #1. You mean like a weenie? I love you. Oh no, it's may I take your hat, sir? Ugh. I had to use my break in case of emergency alcohol. My back hurt. Oh,
Oh my god, what kind of alcohol is it?
yeah. Make it worth it though. Don Julio.
Period.
Oh man.
Did I ever tell you that one time I went to Walmart and this lady was like, "Can I get an alcohol and then or liquor?" And they're like, "Which one do you want?" She's like, "Jimador."
Jimador,
Like,
not the
"You mean my lord?"
Jimador. Damn. Can I have an alcohol, please? Can I have one alcohol? Thanks.
Can I have one Jimador?
Jimador is insane. Guys, I miss this map so much. I haven't played this map in so long.
All of them at the same time.
Which one? All of them.
The
yeah,
music.
exactly.
Is there normally lava here?
Yeah, sometime.
Okay, what's the easiest way you think going up?
I'm trying to see. Oh, look over here. There's a kind of a path. Raining.
What's that
Ooh,
cluster
airplane
berry do?
food.
Oh, well, I ate it.
Bing bong.
I can see clear.
Friend, this way, this way.
now.
Or actually under here, maybe. Hold on. How do we do
That
Oh,
way.
look. Wait, you have a kingberry?
No.
Oh.
Well, I had the red berry, but I ate it.
Oh, balloons. Can you put these in my bag? Or actually, let me put them in your bag. Make your bag light.
Balloon.
Here, come around this way.
Okay, ludicrous.
I'll fill her up. Balloons!
Yes! Oh my god, I was hoping you was like, I wonder if he understood that.
Can you hold
What does
that?
the purple one do?
Yeah, that one's so good. It literally gives you max everything, but we should cook it first.
Okay.
Here, we can go around
I
this.
see that. Do you think we need that? The little fucking mushroom that explodes for its health?
This one? Oh no, the remedy fungus?
No,
Where?
Yeah, right there.
Oh. No, we're already past that. Let's go this way.
Fuck it. Can we make it that way? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a... Oh, be careful. I just dropped here. Okay, you're fine.
I thought I was gonna die, Mira.
I know, I got nervous.
Oh my god.
Stop.
There's a suitcase.
I know, I low-key want to be greedy. It's not going to be worth so much.
There's another one up here.
Oh, more cookies! Guys, we hit the jackpot. I have all food. Bing bong.
Antidote.
Bing bong, you gonna have to go. There's no room for you, girl.
No room for you, girl. Wait. Drop that. Nope. Drop that. So in order for me to get the fucking vampire teeth, I need to be at 200% poison or something and then cure it.
I don't know, something like that. Oh, did you learn that? Did we look that up last time?
Yeah, I googled it because I wanted that shit.
It's so cute. I love them. Oh, there's another. Oh, that's the bag. You.
Hi, Pancake.
Hi, Pancake.
Cutie, how are you?
Hi, Pancake.
Where are you?
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
A hero.
A true hero.
And a hero comes along with the strength
I'm
to carry on. Okay, now let's go down this way. I want to go back to the middle. I don't like being in the bush.
Yeah, because then what if we get fucked?
Well, that will be the worst thing.
There's red crispers here if you're hungry.
That's very true. I should just eat them, huh?
Here. Open wide!
Mouth wide open.
Yeah.
Mouth wide open.
How are you? Doing good. Just relaxing, playing with Justin. The
Homigo.
homie, the bestie, the G.
Okay, wait. Let's figure out a way. Because part of me is looking at those. Can I not fall down?
I know, I'm slipping. Can't help it. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter. Thank you for the check-in.
I'm slipping. Me wondering, maybe the roots was the way to go.
No, this map is not nearly as hard as the Roots map.
Oh my god, I'm like humping the wall.
Okay. We might have to take one of these vines.
We're gonna have to go this way, huh?
Yeah, I think we have to take the vine over there. Yes, Dives, get your check-in. And Pancake.
Oh, these are good.
Hell yeah, get your check-in. How do we get onto that vine? Why is it attached to lava? Like, it's so serious.
Be so fucking for real. How are we gonna get up there?
That's a great
Because climbing
question.
climbing upside down sucks ass, right?
Yeah. Oh, now it's raining.
Let me reevaluate from down here. Yeah, that's too far.
Can we get vines at all?
That one we can't reach.
I know, but that, like, low-key is the one we want. How do we get up to it?
Yeah. Why are they all connected to fucking lava?
I don't know. Like, we have to get here, I guess.
I guess we'll next.
Run!
Oh,
Get out of the fort!
my god! I can't help it! Just kidding. Wait, I need it. I need
No,
it.
Aoi is
I need
right.
to get injured,
Oh,
remember?
true.
For that fucking badge.
There's more
not the
kingberries. I think
Ryan.
this is the way. Oh, not the cloud. Ryan, you know the cloud. You know them very well. I'm good, I'm good. We can squeeze through here.
My head.
Wait, how did you do that? Okay, there.
How did I do that? No spit? I don't know. The world may never know. Okay, this way. I think we're on to something.
Okay, let's go, let's go.
Should we go this way?
No, right up here, right up here, right up here.
Wait, I found something.
Kevin.
Wait,
Kevin.
I'll be back. Hold on.
I do not perceive the cloud. Well, it perceives you, friend. Kevin.
Oh my god.
Ryan, we miss you. This is the easy map. Are you climbing up?
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
I am.
Yeah, go ahead.
A little crack. I'll meet you up there.
Yeah. I'm looking around.
Hold on, it might be dead end.
I can hear you. No, you should be able to climb. Do you see my finger?
What?
Oh. Maybe you can't see my finger.
Wait, I think I dead end.
Damn it. I found a way up. Oh, it's raining. You're what? I needed some Justin laugh. Somebody commented on my laugh today at work, and I was like, you know, I just wanna... Kevin, I'm coming back for you.
Yeah, come back to me. It was a dead end. I ended up going through like some cracks. I crawled into somebody's crack, and then that's where I ended up.
So, I hear you.
Hi, Hammy.
Come. Hi, Hammy. Come. Let's go this way.
Okay.
And I'll send that box to myself. And when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer.
Smash it with the hammer!
Oh my god. Your voice is so amplified by the fact that we're inside a cave.
Just want to pop and say hi. But thank you for the lurk, cutie. Appreciate
Thank you for stopping
I hope you have
in.
an amazing day. Yes. Okay, now what?
Okay, this is where I was. I think this way. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Oh!
Not the fog rising.
Rising. I'm scared.
Did you guys hear that? It definitely wasn't. Okay. I think it's this way and around. I can set a pit in too.
Oh, you have a pit in? But wait. Where are you
Hi,
going now?
I'm gonna go around this way and then up. You see that ledge on the side on the right?
That looked far as fuck.
No, look. This is far, I think? If I put a pit in here?
Yeah. But then remember, crawling sideways takes longer.
Are you hungry? Maybe we can
I could go for like a burger
here.
or something.
Shut up.
Deadass, I am hungry. IRL. I had a burrito and it wasn't enough. Thank you. Oh my god, that's good. This is good. I'm full.
I know. I was also
like the
eating,
Grinch.
so. When he's getting fed.
Yes.
Thank you for checking in, Hammy. No, I know you're here.
Oh wait, do we need?
Like that's what I'm saying. Maybe we could just use the.
Make it?
I think I'm gonna put the pit in here, and then we can crawl over here.
Yeah.
Wow, Kevin doubting my skills and my sound.
Sorry.
Okay, I know you're better than me. All right, I'm
The
gonna go.
fuck?
No, you're better than me at this. I kept dying.
That's a lie.
You died at the end, but by accident.
Because I got impatient. How's it hanging? You're gonna go when it's raining? It's crazy. Ooh.
I dipped in a little. I dipped a lot. I dipped a lot into my extra, but that's because it's raining, I think. I might just eat the rest of those cookies.
You do it.
Okay, you can definitely make it. I made it fine.
You need to wait till it's done raining.
Yeah, wait for the rain, and I can grab you. There you go. You're ready now. Grab. Yes.
Oh my god. Okay.
Did you get scared? Did you get scared of me grabbing you? Here, go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
Oh my
I was like, I'm gonna grab him, but I think he's gonna get scared. He fell. Oh man.
I hate this game.
I think we make it right up here.
Are we almost to the top?
Sure. Oh. Now it's starting to rain as I'm climbing.
You're gonna say something else beyond me.
Huh?
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 Okay, hold on, hold on.
Oh, I found a cave.
Climbing. Reach for the sky.
Okay, now maybe this way.
Oh, there is medicinal root.
Or can we climb on the inside? I can hold.
I put one in your bag.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm getting impatient. Let me get my stamina.
I don't know where to go.
Let's just go up a little bit and see if there's anything.
Actually,
oh no,
yeah.
the rain's not hitting here.
Yeah, it's not, but I'm low-key gonna check inside if I can climb up.
Oh, right here's fine.
Oh, did you make it up?
I made it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming.
My fees are out. My phalanges.
Not the phalanges. Put them bitches back.
Put them batches back.
Yeah.
Grab me! Period. Oh my god, I just crawled up your ass.
Not this.
Look at more purple berries!
Ooh, more purple berries and a suitcase. Wait, I'm actually gonna go down.
Shit. Can we go anywhere up here?
Ooh, a sports drink. I'm gonna drink that.
Oh wait, yeah we can, right here.
A rope spool. Alright, Bing Bong. This is where your journey ends. Kevin, say some words for Bing Bong.
It was nice knowing you, bitch.
You heard that, Bing Bong? You need to leave! I threw him off the cliff!
Long live the king.
I just want to pick up this rope. And then, wait, Kevin, do you have any space in your bag at all?
I don't.
Or in your hand? Do you have any in your hand?
In my hands, no. I have food. I have the balloon, the antidote, to bring somebody back, the lantern. I have the purple fruit. I have my weenie, and then I have the bandages.
All right, I think I'm gonna eat my marshmallow. I'm gonna put one berry in there, and then I'm gonna eat this medicinal root. See what happens. Oh, nothing. Okay. Well, now we have a lot of fucking food. Oh look, and there's a little. Is that a way? No, that's a wall.
You said, "Is that a well?" And you pointed at me. What?
No. Is that a way?
What?
Oh my god, you wanna hear, speaking of whales, you wanna hear something funny about me from work?
What happened?
So I was like climbing up on these shelves, right? So I can grab some stuff from the top shelf, but my boss was there too doing the same thing. And he was like, okay, normally Justin, I wouldn't complain to you about this, but like make sure you're stepping on the edges because in the middle it's weak. Like I already broke one of these. And if I already broke one of these, I was like, oh, and what does that mean? Am I gonna just break it?
What is that? What did he say?
No, he just started laughing because I was making a joke about it. That's not what he meant. He was just like, he's more careful than me. So like, I wish there was a way there. All right. Do I dare try to climb?
I'm just kidding. No, there's nothing up there.
Do you think I make the drum?
No. The drum?
Do you think I make it?
No, don't fucking do it. Do we make it over there?
I made Kevin.
Wait, what?
So run, jump, and hit shift. Run, jump, and then hit shift. You should make it. Grab.
Oh my gosh. I deserve this.
Alright, good, because this is a better way up than whatever the hell we were doing.
Oh my god. I made it. Okay.
It's raining.
We're pretty much at the top.
Yeah, we're almost there. Silent Raged! Oh my god, dude, it's been too long. How have you been? Welcome back. How are you doing, dude? Honestly, this is our first go at it, and we're kind of playing. We're just happy it's not... Yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's crazy that, like, I'm just happy we're not in Root because, like, damn, you know? Tropics is where it's at.
Fuck
I've been well, IRL. Work has been back in full season. Oh, how's work been? Oh, is that way? Oh my god, I hope work's not too hard though. Like, I hope you're taking time for yourself, Rage. Honestly, Rage was one of my peak coaches.
So that's how you know everything.
Yeah, like he taught me about the ascents. He taught me about like how hard they get. I don't know if you've seen that clip of me like getting hit by the tornado and stuff.
Oh my god.
But Rage is in that video. He's the one singing in that video. Work has been nice. Feels good to be active again. What do you do for work, Rage?
Okay, this is not a good idea.
Yeah, I wish I had another pit in. Did you jump?
I did.
But you know how?
I think it's best to wait after the rain. Oh no, we got you. Oh, here we got it.
Oh, 30. Yes, I remember that. You do that. You do like landscaping. Like you touch grass for a living.
Okay, landscaping.
Yeah. Oh my god, more purple berries? What the fuck?
There's a lot of chests up here.
Chesticles?
Not the chest we would like, but something.
The chest that we need.
I can't. My head isn't
more
in.
bandies.
Oh, it's just bandages.
I saw a purple berry up here. Oh, it's there.
Let me see if I can see the smoke. I see the smoke.
Yeah, I see the smoke too. Kevin.
Period. I'm Kevin. Don't you dare slip.
No! No! Okay, I see it. Maybe I can grab it. We have so many of these.
I'm going. I see it. Give me the shit. Yum! Oh my god, it fills up my stamina too.
Yeah, it does. It's really good. Can I grab?
Good.
Okay, I got it. Oh! You know what? I'm gonna eat it. Hell yeah. I did take damage falling from the tree.
Oh, there's bandages right here anyways.
Oh, right. Duh. There's some right here.
There's a shit ton. We're good. We're Gucci.
Guys, we made it up to the. God, Kevin, you're doing so good, friend. What are you talking about?
I don't know who
Wait,
I
I'm sat here in
am.
awe of you two. It's because we're besties. It's because we're in
That part.
we're in sync. That's where it's
Are we
Justin
surprised
Timberlake.
now? Ugh. Tactic welcome in, cutie. How are you?
I'm so confused how you took damage there. Like literally, I didn't even feel like I fell from very far. Yes, that Rage. We have check-ins now. That wasn't here when you were more active.
Period. What do you think we're gonna get now?
Hopefully it's another effigy. Oh my god, I called it! Wait! Guys, I'm magic! Wait, you have one of yours?
Howdy.
I'll put one of
I
mine.
do. Let's see what the next one is, and I might have space if we don't need the lantern. I just want to see if we're gonna get the ice place.
Oh, that's true. You could drop the lantern and stuff.
Yeah. This is why we can want to launch the game and learn how to be a W climber. Do it.
Wait, I need to get balloons. Wait, I have too much stuff.
Stuff.
I have too much stuff. I need balloons.
Well, we can. I'll have an extra spot possibly.
There's a whole second backpack. A whole third backpack. Can I put that backpack in my backpack? All the revives. Literally, so many revives.
Can I put the backpack in my backpack and then send the backpack in the backpack and then smash it with the hammer? Oh shit.
No.
Let me cook my shit. Do I need to cook the purple kingberry?
Yeah, you can cook it just like you cook it.
Oh, my God,
it is the snow place.
Okay, so we gotta keep it. I have nothing else to cook. Oh, I guess I could cook this. Did you have your marshmallow already?
I ate mine, yeah, just...
Okay. I feel like I don't need to eat it. But I have no space. Should I get rid of the bandages or should I keep them?
Just get rid of the bandages, because I have a medicinal root. Oh, we need to consolidate. I have a rope too.
The bandages! Oh, they're gonna stop right there. We need the balloons.
I wanted to put it in my bag, but now I'm holding it. Can you grab something out of my bag?
Yeah.
And then I can hold that in my hands. And I guess I'll drop the rope. I guess? I have so much stuff that I don't want to get rid of.
Do you need the thick mints if we have this purple berry? The silence.
The thick mints have multiple charges, so I kind of want to keep them.
Do you need the... You like, don't look at my back anymore. Do we need the airport food?
Yeah, maybe airport food is what we didn't need. Because I think we need the rope. Rage, what do you think? I wish this game had backpack section.
Yeah.
We're in a my steak is too juicy situation. No, that's what it feels like. Alright, put the rope.
I want steak.
Can you put the rope?
I'll put the rope in your bag.
Thanks a lot, Raged. Also, Rage, do you like my outfit? I look like I'm ready to go.
Oh wait, I have to take this shit out anyways.
Take what shit out?
Can you grab it?
For what?
Or you can grab it. My lantern. My lanta.
No, you don't need it now. Honestly, you can get rid of the antidote. Because nothing here poisons you. Nothing here poisons you, friend. We're done with the poison. There's no more poison. The poison for Cusco.
I need to cure myself in order to...
I know, but we should have just done that with a fart in the last match.
Or I could eat the yellow crisp berries.
Oh, do it now. We have time. Might as well.
Make sure this shit doesn't flow away.
Yeah, I'll
flow away. I'm hungry. I'm so
I love
hungry.
the outfit. Yeah, I'm in drag. I was like, Kevin, I'm getting dressed for stream. And he was like, okay.
Do the yellow ones hurt you?
I don't know. Rage, did the yellow ones hurt you?
Oh? Oh?
Oh, yes, it does. The question has been answered.
The little bit? Oh my god.
Only a
Fuck
little
it,
here.
just use it. Yeah, fuck it. Glug, glug, glug.
Kevin trying to complete challenges. That's how you know he's a
I
tryhard.
know.
He's the sweat. He's trying to do challenges.
Ew. I just want the fucking teeth.
I kind of wish it was the desert, low key. If we were at the desert, I would say we could use the antidote.
There's a lot of holes here.
Don't
This
do
one's
it.
walking towards me now.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No!
Where are you going?
Oh!
Oh my god! Eh.
I saw a subway take. A subway take that said, "Straight men love drag. They just call it football, wrestling, and cosplay." Well, yes. Ancient chess.
Dude, all of the fucking... Oh my god.
Help! Help! I'm cold.
Okay, I think I'm fine here. I dropped down a little bit.
I'm literally not fine.
Dead ass? Where are you?
I got stuck up here.
I see a chat.
Which chest are you getting? Again? Already? We just got it! Ow! I fell. But I'm safe. Kevin? Check, check! Are you okay? Be honest. I'm opening the ancient chests. Oh! I heard Jack Jack like Incredibles. Ow! Oh, it's a fairy lantern! Don't mind if I do. Where are you? Kevin? Jack? I hear you echoing. Where are you? Ooh, a heat pack. See, all this stuff is gonna be useful. Oh, I see you. I see you. What'd you find?
Where are you?
I hear you, but you went too far from me.
All the holes are trying to kill me right now.
When all the holes
The
come against
gays.
you. Oh,
They're trying to murder me.
Evan, come this
Where are
way.
you?
Over here.
What are you fingering?
I'm fingering you to
I
your
see you.
attention.
Do you want this?
No. Let's just get toward the middle.
Well, not accepting their pack. I know. Justin said, "Fuck you."
No, I'm sorry. I found a pack too. I just literally can't
Oh,
hold
you're
it.
sorry.
Oh, you're
Oh,
sorry.
you're
Oh,
sorry. You're
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I live in Milwaukee. You live in Milwaukee? Oh.
Oh, do you know the owner?
Oh, you know the owner?
knows
Helen knows the
owner.
She is so hateful in that movie.
I
She's so
know.
hateful. It's like, girl, you're so insecure. Chill. Like,
Milwaukee.
oh, you're from Milwaukee? I'm sorry. So fucked up.
Let's try this fucking cookie.
Oh shit, that's good. When she's drinking the lemonade. When she gets to the bachelorette party, she's like, oh shit, that's good. Make sure she doesn't get a puppy.
Oh my god. Oh fuck.
Oh hell no.
Oh my god, the music. Where are you?
I'm here.
Oh my god.
Not the jump scare.
Oh my god. You're pink.
Well,
Thank
yeah.
you. Well, yes. I see the kappa whatever place right there.
Where are the
Kappa
capybaras?
bears. Yeah, they're right above us.
That'll protect us from the cold.
I see the smoke.
Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not. You're not. I was
worms.
risking it for the biscuit.
I know, and me behind you like, please don't leave me.
Okay, I'll go.
Don't leave me in the blizzard.
There's was it a shelf mushroom thing?
Shelf fungus? Yeah. Oh, I see.
Do we need? No, huh? We don't need that. Or do we?
I don't know.
Well, we have to. Fuck. Hey! We're fine.
We should be fine in here.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Jerry pirates. I remember they had to look for some treasure, and they have like a blue pirate, red pirate, and a purple one, which I'm like they show instead. I'm like, I don't remember that one actually. From the Tom and Jerry one. I remember the one with like a little girl. Is that the first movie? Did she run away or something? Yeah, shorty. Should we go? Wait, which way are we going?
I thought that was a ledge.
Are you okay?
I got scared. Wait, where's the shelf fungus? I just saw one.
What if we go this way?
Where did I just see that shelf fungus though?
It was. Wait, no, we can go this way.
Oh.
We got this. We got this. There's another shelf fungus right here.
Oops.
Are you okay as in you're not her, or are you okay as in girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? Me with my head
That
up.
reminds me of like that scene in Euphoria where Maddie's like, "You gotta be joking."
You gotta be fucking. Bitch, you better be joking.
Yeah, bitch, you better be joking. That's what that gives. Are you okay? I didn't make that jump. Did you go up?
Yeah, well, I went this way to see if there's anything this way. I might go back.
No, don't lie.
Don't go back.
No, if you're up, stay up. And just try to find a way, like, more up. How did you get up there?
I went all the way around.
You're Oh, that took a lot of damage from me.
Are you coming my way or not?
Yeah, I'm coming your way, but it took damage.
You might need the shelf fungus that's right there. I need to see how many people are.
Who needs ankles anyway? Right, Rage? I don't need my feet. I can break those bitches. Rage's over here watching me literally break my body in pieces.
Where are you? Do you know where I'm at?
Yeah. I picked up a shelf fungus.
Oh, that's the one. Okay. I hear you. It's time to see you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me and see me?
Am I coming in clear? Oh my god, I see you. Look at you climbing the tree. Oh my god.
I need that! I need that! I need that!
Justin! Oh my god.
Oh, right
Don't
here.
you dare fall on me.
I'm
I'm just waiting for you at the top, like, top of the pyramid, hello. We're almost done with the with my lantern.
I'm healing myself real quick. Where did you want to put the shelf fungus? Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can climb straight up.
No, I think you can climb this, friend.
That's what I thought too, but it doesn't let you stay there.
Oh, really?
Wait, no. I came down because I was the whatchamacallit. The fucking the ice.
Oh
my god, are you okay?
I didn't take any damage, but I fell straight down.
Are you able to get back?
Yeah. I'm just gonna eat everything I have. This is why we kept the food.
I'm gonna have to eat something.
I have Girl Scout cookies.
To see if I could.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know if we can make that climb.
I'm just gonna get rid of this.
I'm gonna reassess. See, like, this is all climbable, too. How do we get up there?
Jesus Christ, I made it.
No way.
All my shit, though. Yeah.
Do you have a rope?
I don't.
Do I have a rope? I do. Oh, shit.
You do.
How far up are you? Like where my finger is?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
We're touching hands.
Do you think I can throw the rope up there? Do you think I make that climb?
It's a climb.
I'm gonna throw the rope. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm gonna throw the rope. You ready to the catch? You have the catch.
It's E, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, never did it despawn in front of my salad. Oh, well.
It's okay, you can make it. Does he have the shelf fungus anyway?
Yeah, but I didn't want to use it in case you needed it.
Let me see if we need it, if I go more. Oh my god. I'm here waiting for you.
I'm not sure that helps me, but here we go.
I have the purple berry that will give you everything too.
Oh my god, I literally can't climb up. I don't have enough stamina.
You need my purple berry?
I have Girl Scout cookies. Just save it. Alright, here goes nothing.
Didn't you have the lollipop? Or you got rid of it?
No, I used it. My hero.
Good.
Okay, now what?
My
Oh, this
hero,
way.
academia. Yeah.
My hero, macadamia nut.
Macadamia nut. Who the fuck is Mac?
Who's nut?
Oh my god.
Oh, to the left, to the left. Oh, you found it.
Yeah, I'm up. I got. Yeah.
Okay, we're not stuck anymore. Dude, we got so stuck there. Oh look, a thingy mabobber. Suitcase. Oh, Dives, love you too. Dives, what are you up to today? How's your weekend?
Oh my god.
And more scout cookies. See, this is why I'm eating.
Yay! I have space.
Can we climb on the inside? No. See, that's why I like the desert, because you can climb on the inside to avoid the sun.
There's more suitcase right here. It's another one.
There's more of it.
There's more of them. There's more of it. Leave me alone! Words are hard.
Oh. That's what I get, karma. Karma has me falling off the mountain. Playing fort with your favorite gym. Oh, and a granola bar. Eat the granola bar.
I don't need this one. I need the granola bar.
You can make this climb, friend.
It's the climb. I want the shell fungus.
Oh, we can climb on the inside. Holy.
Inside of who?
The cave. Inside of who? Imagine climbing inside of a person.
That sounds so scary.
Like that. Do you watch The Boys?
Yeah.
That superhero.
I haven't
that,
watched the new season yet.
That superhero. Yeah, no, the superhero that crawls into the guy's pee hole because he likes
it. And then he sneezed.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that show's so crazy.
It's so dumb. I did dip in a little. Stay close.
Oh my god, give me your body heat. We got this. Together forever. Whereas. Oh my god.
Why do you look like that?
Oh my god, I almost ate shit. Jesus. Do you think we can make it straight up or no?
Can we jump? No, just kidding.
Oh my god. Girl.
I think that's the way though. Wait, we can go here, friend.
Yeah, we could.
Imagine.
We're gonna use.
Oh, this is not a ledge. You're joking. I don't know if I can make it. You're gonna dip, huh?
Yeah. I have this.
Yeah, can you throw it like right here? Perfect.
Oh. You can't fucking. This is not.
Yeah, that's not a ledge. Hold, but I'm okay.
Your little hand. Let's go. Hurry before this fucking more cold.
Ice comes back. It's not a ledge, friend.
Right here.
I have to wait. I lost all my stamina doing that. I'm looking up. Oh my god. Let's go. Oh look, I see the smoke.
Oh,
right ahead.
There's a magic bean.
You want to throw it?
Where do we put it at?
Right here.
Oh. Oh.
This is not helping me, but it's fine.
So, we're gonna say I'm a funeral now that you've killed me.
Oh my god, no way.
You see the smoke?
I did when we like came over the end.
Oh my god, I'm freezing. Oh my god, I'm freezing. Jesus.
Kevin, come here.
I got injured. You killed me. Give me that medicinal root.
I don't have any more. I used it all.
I'm gonna be able to make it up now. Fuck. Let me see if I have anything in me. What if I just no? I could.
No, here I have the fairy lantern. If you need help.
Yeah, I need help. I don't know if I can make it up.
I dropped it.
Oh my god! I barely got it.
You can use it to heal.
Okay.
Can you hold on to it or no?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Period.
Me looking for the smoke and can't see it.
You don't do the smoke?
No, but it's here. I mean, we're at the top.
I literally used all the fairy lanterns.
That's fine. You can climb up right here, fine. Like when the snow stops.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Let me drink this. Okay.
Oh my god, Kevin, we're almost done.
I see the smoke. I see the smoke.
You're like looking for it. I don't even see it. Oh, I see it now.
Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
We're almost there.
Kevin, we're making it. We're doing a set 1, friend. Like, you're so good at this now. Neither of us have died.
Literally. Wait till the lava plays.
You die with the lava.
Oh my god.
Like last time, you just died immediately.
Literally. You're like, you did so good, friend. It's like it's fucking murdered.
You're like, okay, and then literally you're like,
Yeah. Deadass. Oh my god.
dude, you're nowhere near me.
The
What
way
do you mean, lifting?
The way the way you fit through that crack was crazy. We made it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I drink to that.
We got anti-rope spool.
Oh, love that for us. That's actually pretty cool. Cool. I can hold it too.
Cool. Can you hold this? Let me get another one.
Do you have the anti-rope?
Nice cock.
Oh!
No, it's right here. It's right here. You want me to hold it? Or you want to hold it?
I can hold it. I have 4 spots open.
Oh, girl.
So I have tons of space
It's
now.
gonna float away when I let go of it.
Yes, yes.
Where do you want me to put it?
Put it in my bag.
I haven't
Kevin!
tossed it. If it's not
But you saw that it started floating, right?
Yes. There's a balloon and
No,
bandages. I'm
we
holding
don't-
bandages.
We don't need the balloon. I can use the bandage. Oh, actually, that healed me.
Okay. I guess I could eat this. Do I have anything in my bag that we don't need?
No, we literally have the same stuff. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna eat this then.
All right, my hands are free.
Alright, let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm scared.
No, we got this, friend.
I thought this part was easy, then it wasn't.
It's literally easier than the fucking.
The last thing.
Yeah.
The fucking root.
Dude, I was so scared about the volcano. Is honestly so hard. Like climbing on the inside is hard.
I hate the volcano. Okay.
This way.
I'll follow you, friend.
Okay, lava's going down. That's good.
The music.
Oh wait, I made a boo boo.
Not the boo boo.
Oh, look, a nest. Wait, we.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, me too. Just pull.
Nah! My divergent screen. Cat. Okay, we're fine.
There's a nest on the left. I can pick up the egg.
On the left? Okay. Are you good?
I don't want to talk about it. But I'm here. I made it. 2 big eggs.
Oh.
Okay, no more Girl Scouts cookies for Justin. I kept going, Kevin. Can you try to make it forward? Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Do you see me?
No. Oh, I'm right behind you. Look at that.
The killer! Behind you!
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Okay, we need to find.
Hi, Rambo. I must have forgotten to check in for the first stream. Yes, we'll get your check-ins now. We have a counter. No, back on this one. We have to grab that chain
back, right?
once the fire's out. Grab the chain. Lava's coming up! Quick! Quick to the slow!
Oh my god! Jesus Christ! Hi, Rambo, cutie. How are you?
How are you doing, Rambo? Okay. Now that I'm on fire.
Should we do this? Should we go behind you and go around, or go straight through?
Well, let's wait for
With
the
the
lava to
chain
go
right
down. Here? Oh, actually, you're better. You're smart than me. I didn't even see.
Definitely not. Yeah. Do we make this jump?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I took damage, but I'm fine. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I did it!
Did you take damage?
I didn't take damage, no.
I don't know.
Maybe because I landed against the wall, not on it.
Okay, I grabbed a rope. Oh, this is about to go on fire.
Are we gonna go on fire?
No. Just wait for that. Ready?
Where you at? Which way? Which way? Can I do a flip right here?
Yeah, do it. Let's see.
No.
You have faith. You have faith.
Oh my god, behind you.
Wait, what's wrong? I can't tell. Oh, you missed it. Did it flip?
Boy. I'm gonna kick your booty.
Why did you scream like that? Here, there's chains.
Like you actually died IRL.
Chains here, you can climb.
Let me go that way. Hi, ass. Oh!
Ash is back.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure we're
I think you're taking a daily cheek.
It's looking like we gotta wait for the lava again. If we had milk, we could literally just walk through the lava.
Wait, dead ass.
Yeah, the milk literally protects you from all kinds of status conditions, including. Oh, did you grab it?
Yeah. Okay. And I just did it because it said I had only one check-in, but I'm getting them, and sometimes I forget. Oh my gosh. No, I always forget to get my dailies.
Oh yeah, and sometimes I'm like, I have to remember to get on Twitch to get the daily. Because like yesterday I missed your stream. I'm so sad.
I think we're going in circles.
Like,
we're gonna need to run through that shit.
Like, I think we have to go this way, friend, I think. Like, I think this is a dead end. Like, we really can't go anywhere.
Yeah, we'll go this way and we'll climb up. We have to go back.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be on fire now, right?
No. I think this one's on fire. Or that one.
I will literally jump on this chain right now.
The lava looks pretty.
Oh!
Oh, there's a chain there.
Yeah. Oh my god. There we go.
Okay.
Let me see. Reevaluate.
Well, we have to go this way. Yeah. Like, let's get on these columns all the way down that way.
Oh.
Like, we can jump. We can jump down onto that. Pretty sure. Ready? Go!
Did you say no or go?
No, I said go.
No, I was like, what?
No. And I think we can jump this, or try.
You go down here a little bit. You're gonna jump it?
The lava's going down.
Oh,
the left,
my God.
ledge on the left, ledge on the left.
Okay.
Okay,
Jesus.
wait. I'm scared. You have to be there to catch me, okay?
Okay.
Well, I didn't take damage.
I got you.
Alright,
oh, there's two keys right here.
Wow! Milk would have saved us earlier.
What happens if I drink it?
Nothing, but like drink it. Just drink it when you know we're gonna be on fire. You know? Or if like you're gonna touch like the lava. Yeah, how Kevin's making all these jumps so clean, and I'm like struggling to jump.
That is a lie.
Okay.
I just drank it. I had no space.
You're not gonna take fire damage for a while then.
Oh no?
No. Look at you zooming. Me having to wait.
Zoom. Make my heart go boom boom. Get up here!
I know, I got stuck on the chain. Oh, eggs!
What is this? An egg.
Alright, ready? Egg roulette. Let's see if we get chicken, okay?
Wait, you could get chicken?
Look at that.
Period.
Let's see, we have more. Let's see. Oh!
Egg. Can I
okay. You can eat it.
Can we grill this or?
We can grill it.
Like
we can grill it. We'll have a fire. We'll have a fire when we go inside. Remember? I mean, you can eat it now if you want.
Me, I'm like, I don't have space.
Just eat it then.
I'm gonna eat it. Yum. My supernova girl. Yes.
Ew. Kampuda, tell me how to get up the volcano.
Period. Oh my god.
Like, I don't think this is the way, because we can't get to this one. Kampuda, blow up the mountain. Kampuda, call a helicopter to come save me. I think, look, we have to go here and here.
I might just
Are you gonna just full
Honestly, just
send
run
it?
across it. Yeah.
You're fucking crazy. I guess you can. Like now that you know the fight, look, Kevin's all brave because he knows the fire's not that serious. He's like, it's
what do you
just.
mean fire?
You're like, the burning will go away.
The burning will go away.
Being a
It
cooked chicken
heals.
is frying me. Like, why was it cooked already? It came out of the egg like that, Ash. Kevin making me brave. Like, okay, when the lava goes down, we can go.
I'm going. It's fried nuggets going.
No, us, pink and burning. Like, I took so much damage from that, actually.
You got damage?
Yes, I fell straight down.
Why did you fall straight down?
Oh, I can't do this yet.
Oh my god.
Wait, I need to reassess.
I need to reassess.
I don't even have any more food. All that food I was talking shit about, now I have none.
Jesus.
Jesus walks.
My ass is on fire. My coochie's on fire.
You gotta get that checked out.
My pussy's gone mad. My pussy's gone crazy. What did she say?
My pussy's gone crazy.
Oh my god.
And it's a cat with a knife. It's kind of crazy.
Ugh, I love that. I'm about to eat my fucking berry.
I need a med kit immediately.
There has to be one up here. There's
Kevin,
a
we
cane
made
launcher. Oh, there's a piton. A piton.
More rope. Oh my god. Actually, I'm gonna use these when we get to the...
Pandora's lunchbox. What does
Oh,
that do?
Okay, so you can either really kill yourself, you can fully heal yourself, or something else.
No.
No.
Okay. Should I get rid of the bean, or should I take a piton?
I can take the pin.
Because there's 2 pitons.
I still have room. Oh yeah, maybe you can grab a pin. You can get
Should
rid
I
of the
get rid of my
bean.
bean?
Yeah. Damn, if I knew you had a bean, I would have told you to use the bean to make us a tunnel across one of those lava things.
Oh my god.
To
You're
make us a
right.
bridge. Ooh, a chain launcher. Holy shit.
You're good with those.
Yeah, chain launcher is pretty good. I'm gonna get rid of this rope. Yeah, the rope for the chain launcher. Can you hold the rope at all or no?
I have no space. Let me see in my bag. I think I need all that, right?
Yeah, you can probably eat your marshmallow now, low-key. Because we're about to get some. Like, eat your marshmallow now and then hold the rope, and then we can eat the marshmallows.
Okay, hold on.
Or low-key, you can hold, yeah, you can also hold it.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Okay, vamos. We'll leave Pandora's box.
Vámonos.
It's too unpredictable. Alright, guys, we made it to the end. Guys, it was the fit. It's because I'm dressed, it's not because I'm dressed for the adventure.
Because we're dressed for occasion.
Yeah.
Next time you see me when we play this, I'm wearing a mushroom head.
Us dressed like our little Boy Scout character.
Oh my god.
With
I'm
a
all
little-
pink.
With a little sash. I'm all pink. I'm in pink drag, just fully body paint.
Woohoo!
Show me your tits.
Seems so stressful. I just showed you my tits.
Oh, period. Beautiful boobies.
Girl, nasty, I've been in nasty, nasty,
I've
nasty.
been in nasty. Is somebody gonna match
Somebody
my
gonna
freak?
match my queef?
Somebody
Is
gonna
somebody gonna match
freak?
my queef?
My queef? Is somebody gonna smell my queef? The echo. Because we're in a cave.
Somebody gonna.
What? I get the weenie this time.
I get the marshmallow. I gotta eat this. I gotta eat this.
I gotta put me first. All right, let's go.
I'm stressed.
No,
The
we're
solo's
good.
a
No.
vibe. W Wiener.
W wiener, like a weenie. May I take your hat, sir? I see a chest.
Should we go this way?
Or this way.
I'll follow you.
I will follow. It's a little spicy down here. It's fine.
My labia is on fire.
Not the lips.
Not the lips.
Not your lips on fire.
This lip is on fire.
Fire, fire. Look at it. We're already at the pack.
Oh my god.
Another chain launcher, a rescue claw, trail mix. Wait. I think I'm gonna drop the pit in for another chain launcher, and then I'm gonna eat the trail mix.
I'm gonna get rid of my bandages.
Yeah, get
and
rid of the
hold it in
bandages.
then.
Yep. Wait. Hold this.
Do you think that?
Yeah, or grab the chain launcher and I can grab that.
Instead of the pitten?
Yeah, because the pin
Because with it,
requires us to like be chill and actually apply it, like put it down. But the chain launcher, we could just shoot across and it'll make a chain. And we could just...
you can use the rescue claw.
I know. So take the chain launcher instead of the pin. The second pin, because you already have one, right?
Yeah, it would be two.
You don't need to carry two. Just carry the one, and the chain launcher's actually better than the pin. So we can crawl. We can like use it to climb across.
Okay.
Trying to get a good.
Can we go this way? Okay, no. I think we're stuck.
I sure wish we had a pit in right now. Can you make that?
Oh my god.
Did you make
Barely.
it? But you used all you used all of it.
Yeah, I have my berry that I can eat right now.
Oh.
Ah!
Hold on. I'll be right back.
Justin.
Yeah, keep trying to find a way up. I'll make it up there.
Boo boo, I don't think there's anywhere to go.
You're joking. You better be joking.
Fish, you better be joking.
Oh, maybe we have to keep going this way, Kevin.
You want me to go down?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Fuck me sideways.
Where are you?
Over here. Like I'm trying to make this climb to make sure it's worth it.
My god.
Hi, Sugar Pea.
Fucking
Welcome
music.
in.
Oh.
Another pit-in. Like we don't need that. But there's trail mix here you can eat.
Yeah, I need some trail mix. I have stuff I can eat too, actually. I forgot. I have the
Well,
thick mints.
Yeah. Just save them though. If you
Where
can,
is
if you
the
can
trail
help it.
mix?
In the bag. Yeah.
Imagine my phone to you on accident. Should we go up?
Like I think we can go
Okay.
there. This is so hard.
The lava's rising really fast.
Like, but there's also this.
It might be easier to go this way.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Fuck it. Ooh, okay.
Is it echoing game or is it the mic effect? It's the mic effect because we're using props like game chat, and because we're in the volcano, our voices are echoing.
Huh?
Echo!
Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
Lurk for a bit? Yes! Yes! Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for being here. I love it so much.
Oh my
Yo, this
God.
game is so camp. It's so fun.
Is there anything up there? Is that where I was and I just jumped down?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I set a pit in down. Hold on.
You might need to use the chain launcher.
Or grab you with this grapple gun.
Yeah.
Friend, this is not a drill.
We have to go this way.
Woo!
What happened?
Can you hold the pit in and stop moving, bitch? Oh my god.
Where are you?
I climbed up.
Do I climb up there or no?
No, just wait. There's no ledge.
We're gonna have to go this way.
Oh, I'm dead. It's over. It's a wrap.
Shut up.
I just fell. Yeah. Yeah.
Do I need to use the eulogy thingy?
You can, but use the chain launcher first.
You're quiet.
Oh.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, I don't have anything.
We're gonna have to go this way.
Why was the volcano the hardest part? Yeah, you use the chain
Should I
launcher.
use the chain
Yeah,
launcher?
to get us up here or something.
It doesn't give it. Oh my god.
Quick,
It
quick,
doesn't
quick,
work.
quick!
It literally lets it only right here.
I think we're dead here. I don't think this is... No.
Oh my god.
Ah! I fell down again! Ah!
No. Oh my god. Why is it up to me? What the fuck?
I don't know how we're gonna get supposed to get up there.
Fuck.
I'm dead.
Alright, 3. Alright.
Hello.
What am I stuck on?
I cannot believe I'm dead.
Why am I slipping here? Here we go.
You got this, Kevin. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guardian angel.
Do I? Do
Yes.
I don't know, boo.
You're
I'm
getting all the
humping, I'm
little
humping,
tiny...
I'm humping,
yeah,
I'm humping.
and there's one right above you to your left that you can hump.
Hi, bug.
To your left, to your left.
Where?
You got this, Kevin.
My God!
You're gonna make it up. You're gonna make it up.
Holy shit balls.
Kevin, you got this.
Why is it
I'm
me?
gonna be your guide.
I'm
Okay.
your guy.
Okay, go onto the hot rocks, but you're gonna have to leap onto that path, onto the other one across.
Oh, fuck me.
You got this.
Fuck me in the asshole.
Now go.
Okay.
You're gonna go up. Yep. On your left. Yep. That way. Yep.
I don't think I can climb that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There's a ledge right at the top of that.
Oh,
There's a ledge right there. Ledge right there. You're almost there.
Oh my God.
You're so much better. Just keep going left. Keep going left and up.
Ugh.
Is this okay?
Fucking hate this game.
This is my mission. My mission is to be your guardian angel. You know, get you to ascent 7. You know.
Now we're
Behind you, back on the hot rock behind you.
I don't need to go up here.
Well, there's no ledge there. Like you would be going down. So try to climb up onto the hot rock.
So where do I go?
Onto the hot rock. Yep. And then get your stamina back when you can.
Oh my god.
Go to your left.
And then
Left. Yep, back there. You see that?
what?
Behind you. Stop moving.
That way?
Yeah, because you were
Oh my
facing that way.
God.
Okay, just get on the ledge. On the ledge. Yep. Just
Okay.
wait. You got it.
Fuck me.
Now let the fire go down
I'm
and
burnt
climb.
to death.
No, you're good. Kevin looking around like, which left? I'm like, the left you were doing when you were standing still. You can be, yep, that's the way.
You have
That's
to
the
go
way.
here, huh?
Yep. And if you want to go down and get something out of that chest, you can. The lava's pretty far.
Nah, no, I don't want to waste time.
Okay, just go straight up then.
Oh my god.
To your left.
Okay, now
left. Yep.
Okay.
Kevin, I'm sorry. I don't want to freak you out, but lava's coming up.
Shut the fuck up!
There's a ledge
I'm
there.
gonna beat your ass.
There's a ledge there. Okay, go to your right. There's a ledge.
This way or this way?
Behind you. Girl. Behind you. Let's go that way. Fuck it. No,
This
wait,
way?
no. Actually, though, but yeah, go the way you're walking. Nope. Turn around. Where my ghost is. Hello, behind you. Yep.
Okay. Right here?
Okay. Yep. There's a ledge on the right. You don't have to climb all the way up yet. Hump the wall, Kevin. I know you know how.
I know you know how.
Hump the wall. Wiggle. You want to make your ass.
Trying to make your ass fall off. I can't with you. Oh my god, I love you so much.
Okay. Yeah, to your right. Or actually straight up, you're fine. There should be a ledge there. A lesbian there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking.
Now what?
I'm looking. Behind you. Against the wall. Yeah, you can climb up that way. There's a few ledges there. Left. Yep.
Why are you following me?
Bong, thank you for the follow.
Oh my god.
Hi Bong, welcome in. Yeah, keep going that way. The way you're walking.
Okay, now what?
Where you're
This
walking.
way?
Keep going that way. On those ledges there.
Do I go this way?
Yes.
Where I'm pointing?
I can't point. I can't see your finger. I'm dead. I just see where you're looking.
Oh fuck.
It's okay. You got this. Just grab the bottom of that
my
one. Just
God.
grab the bottom. Yep. Climb right up. There's a ledge right there. Kevin is
Fucking hate this
stressed.
game.
Of course, cutie. Hope y'all
I am
miss me.
stressed.
Bong,
Why
I appreciate you
me?
being here. Bong, am I doing good guiding Kevin? Be honest. Even though he's freaking out a little bit. Go open that chest and see what you get. Also, you can probably eat your Thin Mints. Might as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
2 grapple guns.
Dead ass?
Yes.
Oh, those are rescue. Let me eat my shit.
Let me eat my shit.
Okay. Okay. It's like
let's
a time,
see.
right?
Yeah, this
Oh
lava's
my
not close
gosh.
to you at all.
Okay.
Okay,
This
wait.
way?
Yeah, climb up though. You might have to climb on the hot rocks. But just make sure whenever you hit a ledge to let your stamina get back up. Because you'll burn slower than your stamina will go up. Yep, on your right. Yep, keep going. That's not on fire up there.
Okay. I'm
And
here.
then right above you, there's another ledge. Now keep walking that way.
Okay.
Keep walking. You have to go where my ghost went. No. You can't climb straight up.
Ooh!
It's okay. It's okay.
Ooh!
It's okay.
Okay.
Try to wrap around this way. Yep.
What the fuck is happening? What is happening? Was I throwing my ass in a circle? What the fuck happened? Why was that happening?
There's a ledge right there. Yep.
Okay.
Now
Now what?
keep going up that way. Yep, across these rocks. On your right. On your right. Behind you. Behind you. That's not your right. That's hot. Yeah, there's no heat here, and then you keep going on this side.
Okay.
Yep. Don't go up. Just lateral. Yep. Just keep walking straight. Walk on.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You might have to take a leap of faith. On your right. Yep. Down there. You see those ledges? Jump to those ledges.
This?
Yes, you got it. You got it. Look at that. You're so good. It's so encouraging.
That's so encouraging. I love that.
I'm literally a teacher. I'm like, you got this. No. Oh, actually, no. You're fine. You're fine. Yep. You're at the top, Kevin. No, go to your
my
right. Go to your right.
God.
Go to your behind you.
Hold on, let me get
Once
my
your
stamina.
once your stamina's back, because there's ledges to your right, so you don't have to like try too hard to get up.
Ugh.
Now wrap the way you thought you were going. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You got this, Kevin. You're at the top.
Oh my god.
You're about to get another
Justin.
badge and another sash.
I'm gonna beat you up.
Why?
You owe me money. Welcome in, Peppa.
Keep going.
It's so scary.
Hi, Peppa Pig. The way you're walking is the way up. Just keep going that way. Nope. The way. Don't
way
turn.
up?
Don't turn. It was the way you were walking.
Don't turn.
I said the way you were walking.
Oh my god.
You kind of ate. You devoured. Can you hear me?
Ugh,
Can you
fuck
see me?
this game.
Can you hear me?
Can you
see
see me? Can you hear me?
Made it to the top, Kevin. You're a peeker.
Oh my god.
Look at it, it's right
My hands
there.
are so fucking sweaty. I see you, Peppa. Welcome
Look
in,
at
Kitty.
this.
How are you?
Kevin, you're doing it all alone.
Jesus. I did it with you.
I know.
Literally wouldn't be able to do it without you, deadass. Your fucking voice helping me. I'm like, ugh.
Boo! I'm a ghost.
Jesus. So what happened when you were like, what were you trying to do? Oh my god.
I don't even know. I couldn't get. I think the ledge was literally big enough for just one person, so I couldn't even get where you were. And then I fell. And then I tried to grab the chain again, but I had taken so much damage and fire damage that I had no stamina to hold the chain. No longer
Oh
yet.
fuck.
All right, light the flare. All right.
Here he is.
Okay, ready, Kevin? The helicopter's gonna come regardless, but climb off the side of the mountain. Like, keep climbing down. You can get a jewel.
What?
Go,
You're
climb
fucking
down.
lying.
No, I'm not lying. I promise I'm not lying. Keep going.
Down?
Yes.
And then what?
Keep going. Oh, we didn't find it. Usually there's a jewel there. Your mushroom head made it.
I did. Oh
Now you
my
looking at
God.
nobody. You're like, and all my friends
Me,
are
I'm just
dead.
like. In
Your
spirit,
friends
I
left
did
you
it
to
for
die.
you.
Is literally what it said. Your friends left you to die. It's
Jesus.
crazy.
I did get a new stash
Yay!
and a new fit.
Hell yeah! An hour and 40. That's not bad.
Bye, y'all. Catch you on the flip side, motherfuckers. So long, gay boys.
So long, gay boys. Hi, Star. Welcome in.
Hi, Star.
And that's how you peek.
Oh my god.
Guys,
That was so scary.
it's okay. Kevin, you did it.
I'm like, oh, fuck this game. Congrats.
I had my backpack on and everything. I'm literally wearing a
Jesus.
backpack.
Pete, Kevin.
I know, boyfriend.
I'll give you a shout.
Boyfriend, hi.
Hey.
How you doing, boyfriend?
Eh. Period.
Thank you for the shout out,
did it.
Ryan. We did it, Joe.
Oh my god. I want to see
So-
my fucking fit, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have the yellow one now. Or whatever color this is. How you doing, boyfriend? How's everything? Are we having an amazing day?
How's life? Oh, I fell.
Is this the new one?
Yeah, that's the one I'm
I
wearing.
think it... Let's touch tips.
Let's touch tip. Oh, jinx.
Up, 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 up. Period. Okay.
So what do you want to do
wait.
now?
You still want to? Do you still want to play something? You want to do it again?
Yeah.
Do you want?
Do you want to do it again? Is really the question.
Yeah, I can do it again. I'm
Could
down.
you
I'm down to
actually?
change. If we can play games, we could change the game up too. Yeah, I don't mind.
I'm
And
down
you
to
can
play
go
something
harder.
else. What I forget what the next level is.
Ascend 2. Hunger grows faster.
Okay, I'm on Ascent 5. The night
is
is
that
cold is crazy. That's which one I'm on. I'm down to switch games.
What do you want to do?
I feel
what do
like
you wanna play?
I don't want to commit another 2 hours, but I can commit an hour.
Okay, same.
We can
What we
play,
gonna play?
DVD. We can play Fortnite. We can play.
I'm down for DVD or fork.
I'm down for DVD because I haven't really been playing.
Okay, same. I haven't played it in a minute.
Okay.
That means we have to go to Discord.
Discord.
Remember?
I'll-
play in Discord.
Do you want to go in my server or should I go in yours?
I'm just gonna call you.
Oh. Okay. Bye. Guys, we peaked. We peaked. I have to keep this hat on, maybe? Let's see. How bad does it look? How bad does my hair look? Oh my god, my hair looks crazy. W peaking? My hair is crazy. I got hat hair. Putting the hat back on. Taking the backpack off. Ryan, next time we have to do it with you. And Kevin didn't die that whole time. Kevin did it without dying. Guys, I got a little color on my face. I'm a little red. It's more like purple. I gotta switch my headset. Gavitron. Oh my god, you just missed it. Hi, Gavin. You did miss it. Get your check-in. I have a check-in redeem. Guys, this hat is not functional for my game. Gavin, how are you? I hope you're feeling okay. Y'all will only be carrying me, but I'm here to complain the entire way. Kevin complained the entire way and still made it to the top right. Maybe that's what you need to do. I have to turn on my DVD. I'm gonna have to get another hat because this one doesn't fit. Can I fold it up? Let's see. Oh, it looks so stupid. Oh, why do I look like? That's kind of cute. It's giving sailor. I look silly. I'm gonna go get a real cap. Hold on. I have hat hair, so I can't really be hatless at the moment. Oh, I know what I was doing. Getting DVD on. Guys, I need DVD for Steam. Conan Gray core. Does Conan Gray wear a bucket hat like that? Bucket hat like this? What if I did this? Me no likey. Me no. Oh, you know what it is? I am fine. I've been doing Wordles with my friends, and now I'm getting them to see your stream. Period. We love to see it. Okay, wait. Oh, I thought I X'd out my OBS. Okay, wait, guys. BRB. I'm gonna grab water, and I'm gonna set up my game. A DBD. Dead by daylight. Oh, I never got my water. Momo, thank you for the check-in. All right. I think Kevin's been calling me. Momito, ¿cómo estás, mi momito lindo? Okay, I took my hoodie off. I'm wearing my Remy Wolf shirt. Gavin, get your check-in, or else. Hi. Okay, I'm back. And let's see where Kevin is calling me from. Hello? Wait, why can't I hear you? Oh, it's because now I can hear you.
You hear me? Am I coming in clear?
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
All right. You want me to go to your lobbies, or you want to come here?
No
How are
salami.
you?
Salami, we're raw dogging it. What are you talking about?
It's because when I was talking to Ryan when I was working out on the phone, and I was like working out, and then I was like, "Oh, did you have your Lani today?" And he's like, "Did I have my salami today?" And that's when I almost died because I was doing like literally mid rep, and I almost dropped the fucking weight.
Here, I'll join your party.
Are you sure? I don't mind going over there.
I already joined. I already hit join party.
I don't see you.
No.
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Did you guys hear that? That definitely
Hi,
wasn't me.
Stargazer. How are you, cutie?
I did it again.
It can't invite. It just says join party.
Are you in the menu or are you in Survivor?
I'm in Survivor menu.
Oh.
It says waiting for you to respond.
I already said accepts. Now what's the T?
Let me restart it.
Yeah, I'll restart.
Hey. DBD. How do you guys feel about both my dating show for both you keys? You're so fucking adorable. Oh my god. I don't
Yes!
think
Hi,
have any bodies
Drea!
here. Let me give you a shouty.
Momo, how are you?
Honestly,
Hi,
I'm
I
happy
claimed my
about it.
daily and vanished. How are you? Momo.
Weird. I'm excited for him too.
For who, Momo?
For
Oh,
Jason.
was Jason announced?
Yeah.
DVD servers try not to be booty, but butt cheeks challenge.
Of
Yeah,
course,
seriously.
We
Star,
always
how are you
support the
doing
homies
tonight?
here.
How was your stream, Star? Yesterday? You streamed yesterday? Jason
Are you back
announced
on?
after a
Be on me.
13-hour stream. I'm still loading in.
13 hours is crazy.
Is that how long that YouTube video was, or whatever it was? That's how the Pokemon announcement was for Galarian Ponyta. It was like a 24-hour stream, and we just kept seeing glimpses of folks. Wait, are you inviting me on
Did you get it?
Steam? I'm playing on console.
No. I'm literally inviting you in the game.
I'm not getting an invite. Isn't that weird?
Rambo,
Yeah.
you're so cute. Oh my god, Rambo. Oh my god. Thank you,
I
Blue.
shouted you and
Shout
Kevin
out.
on Blue Sky Twitter.
Oh,
Oh my god, Rambo! No way, thank
Helio,
you.
hi.
Hi, Helio! Okay, okay, I got the invite. Let's see.
I just woke up.
It worked! Gabe mains, by the way.
Gay mains, by the way.
Gay mains. Gay on main.
Oh my god.
13 hours of just looking at a cabin and certain things happening. That's literally how the Pokemon was. Pokemon 1 was like a few years ago.
Why so
Maybe 10
long?
years ago.
I remember everybody was watching it.
Well, Fork found in kitchen on that one. Well, Ryan. Hashtag buy rights.
Exactly.
I was intending to catch you the other morning, but fell asleep trying to stay awake until you stream. No, why are you staying awake till you stream? Rambo, where are you from? Are you not from the States?
What time is that you're in?
I was like, I streamed at like 10 a.m.
By solidarity.
Hashtag by solidarity, exactly.
I'm
That's
strictly
a joke.
dickly, I'm gonna be honest.
That's what no, me and Julian were saying that in Momo's chat one day or something like that. Or in Ryan's chat.
By solidarity.
Hashtag by rights. Drea, I miss you, Drea. How are you? Look at all our friends in the
How's
chat.
everything? I know.
I miss
People
all
really
our
do
friends.
like
Guys,
us.
can we all have a party? Guys, if I hosted a slumber party, would you guys come?
Of course.
If I
as long
hosted
as
a
I
dinner and sleepover like a weekend getaway at my house? Like, would people come? Yeah.
Of course,
I think everybody would have fun.
always.
No. You know what, Momo? And that's why I don't care you broke your elbow.
Ew. Not like this.
Son of a bitch! I'm in!
The tequila and pizza? Period. What kind of tequila?
Tequila?
What kind of pizza?
So y'all want me on my ass?
Tequila and tacos? Ooh, even
No,
better.
I woke up a bit earlier that morning, but I fell back to sleep. Your CST? Oh, Randall, we're in the same time zone. Can I come for free food? Gavin, we'll have to card you at the door. Just kidding. Sure.
Oh my god.
Now Gavin being like, I want to eat, but I don't want to stay over, because fuck your house. Just kidding.
Literally.
He's like, can I just come
forget
for
we
the
had
food?
that one. Alright. Guys, I haven't played DBD in a minute, so
Me
please
neither.
check my
Be
game
safe.
first.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, boo.
I have my. I was about to say I have my dick out, but it's just these pants. They accentuate the curves. Is it a knight?
It's an Oni.
Oh, you're right. Here he comes.
See on front, okay.
Wicked witch.
I can't with you with that shit.
Oh.
Let me see. You got this? Oh no, bong. Kevin, I learned to loop from you. That's a fucking lie.
Guys, I'm actually ass at this game. I can't. I haven't played in like 5 days.
You are what you eat.
True, truly, honestly and truly.
5 days? You know,
I
last
haven't
time
played. I haven't played since
2 weeks.
Wednesday. You played 2 weeks ago? Lies.
I think so. Remember when I played with Ryan? What am I
Kevin, I
stuck on?
learned to loop with your whole testicles? I've never been in a relationship, but I consider myself bi, but maybe I can be turned. Oh, LOL. Look, if you're bi, you're already like one dick in the mouth close to being gay, you know what I mean? Oh!
Shit! Nobody got you? Has anything
It's,
you guys
it's okay.
ever-
They're milking my hook because B is trying to just get progress. I respect it. I respect it. Milk that
Be in
hook!
danger, girl.
He's in his power. He's coming right over to me.
I forgot when that was the last time we played. When was it? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Help me. W egg.
Do you remember when I opened the egg and it was a chicken?
It was a legit fucking
It was
rotisserie
a
chicken.
rotisserie chicken.
Oh my god.
Oh, my whole loadout is all dumb. Wait, my loadout is so dumb.
Fuck! Okay, it's okay, it's okay. We're learning. We're learning. Where'd he go?
I don't know.
It was last week. I just remember doing my my employed era. Oh. What a time to be alive. He's after me.
Okay, I'm gonna heal before I go to the B. I have to change my loadout. My perks are all dumb and ridiculous.
Let me take him away.
I see. Alright, I'm gonna go to hook. Kevin,
Why do I keep
run.
getting stuck? Dead ass. I feel like I'm getting stuck on everything. Oh my god! I forgot the game is a different button now. Oh my god.
Good try, Kevin.
Oh my god.
It's okay, I got the V healed.
Welcome in, Zeus. Why the fuck fuck would you not pallet stun? Oh my god.
I have wig lift. I have wig lift. I have wig
I
lift.
didn't pallet stun? Oh my god. I can't believe I didn't waste the pallet. My god.
I have wig
Jesus
lift.
Christ. Oh, shame on me, Z. Oh my god. Bye.
Run, Kevin, run!
Game's not serious. But thank you for coming to my stream. Appreciate you. Ooh. We're fine.
He's after me.
He's on you?
Nope, he left me.
Okay, I'm in.
Oh my god,
the
how do we
shack.
find V? We're trying to finish this gen.
V was too busy being.
Hi, Zeus.
I mean, waste a pallet or waste money on a Wi-Fi router, I guess. Laugh my ass off.
Zeus, I think Zeus wants to stay on Hook, low-key.
That's what it seems like, too.
It's looking like you're coming in here to talk shit on Hook.
Ugh. I think he's here.
No, he's on me.
He's on you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm bringing him to Shy, or this is not Shy. Like, why are you coming in here being annoying?
This gen's done.
Is that a good enough pallet stun for you, Zeus? Haha.
Let's see. These ones are done. I'm gonna go back to the one that I started. Period. I know what it is. I need to change my headphones.
That's
what you
fine. You guys are trash. Whatever, bro. I just did a 2-gen chase, you weirdo. Get out of here.
Now he just wants attention.
Like, you're on Death Hook and I got a 2-gen chase.
Oh my god, I need to change my game. Just remembered.
Oh, same here. Peeking your titles. Well, I think it's gonna stay on my title. I don't go around talking shit to people, Zeus. I'm sorry. You sound like a loser to me.
I just want attention.
I know, I was low-key worried about V this whole time.
I know if may get you, boo.
It's okay, I'm gonna hold it until I can't hold it no more. I'm losing the game, it's crazy.
Got that adren. Period.
It's okay. I died.
Okay. Where's the other gate? I think they're right here. Yeah. Period.
Did you make it out?
Yeah. So much for that palette.
Who needs the palette when you can just get out?
That's crazy.
Did you ever listen to Tori Kelly's song? Oh, I didn't.
They literally went to Death Hook to come into chat to write that about a palette.
Like, literally. All that just to get out. It's fine.
Oh no.
You're welcome, girl.
People can do hard things. Instead of giving the killer a laser, Hermu will slap that palette on his tip. On his tippy tip.
On the tip! Just a tip. Tee-hee. Ooh-woo.
Welcome in, Tito.
Oh my god. Hi, Tito.
Alright. So that wasn't too bad. Oh wait, let me put my.
Oh yeah, change your headphones. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Lock in, friend.
Hold on. Bitch.
Even though we got out, like we were struggling at the beginning, but we kind of pulled it together. Well, I didn't get out, but I got on spirit. I didn't get out because the V couldn't give a fuck about me, but it's fine.
Let me choose this.
Do not tell me what to do. Are you gonna hit me? That's literally you're dying for it.
Get off.
Beam boon yo sack. Exactly. V is actually the next one that I am actually. Let me switch my perks up because my perks are crazy. Let's go back to V because we're trying to P100 her.
Yeah.
Let's dump all my points into V. And I actually don't mind this loadout, even though I don't want conviction. I think I'm gonna take. I'm never using conviction again. I can't. Of the song? Yeah. Oh, okay. Actually, let's put it on.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's see.
Oh my god. Guys. What should I eat for dinner today?
Oh, resilience, duh. Cereal. You guys ever just eat cereal for dinner when you're not that hungry?
Honestly, when I'm done with the gym at night, I do.
You
get
want
cereal.
a little snack?
I eat cereal.
A little cereal snack.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what's your favorite cereal?
Let's see. I like if I'm doing like a sweet cereal, it's gonna be like Cinnamon Toast Crunch is probably like my cereal choice, or Captain Crunch. But if I want boring cereal,
Captain
which
Crunch Berries.
Oh, that's good. If I want boring cereal, I get like Honey Bunches of Oats. That's kind of the only boring cereal I eat. Because I like the little clusters. The s'more cereal? Wait, I've never had s'more cereal. A savory cereal? Oh, okay. What do you mean a savory?
I like Captain Crunch Berries, Lucky Charms.
I don't like Lucky Charms. I find it too boring. It's just all sugar. It doesn't even taste like anything. But I love Captain Crunch Berries. I was like,
I used to like Apple Jacks. I don't know
Well,
if I
it was
like that
like
anymore.
sweet cereal and boring cereal. I used to like Apple Jacks too, but they don't like it.
I'm like, I don't know, because I haven't had that shit since like
You were like 10.
high school. Yeah, dead ass. Fucking hella young.
I do that too. They need to add emotes. They need to let me see you wiggle the character. Excuse me. I call those adult cereal. Oh, okay. That's fair.
There we go. I literally feel like I forgot how to play this game.
But you were doing. We did so good last game. We literally did.
We did.
The Oni got me literally.
Shit.
The Oni literally was able to get my kill because we had a teammate who didn't want to save.
It's alright, you got out literally because I did. Oh, we got an enemy.
Yeah, I know. Well, damn! Put your tentacle away, ho!
Hilo, how are you, cutie? How's everything? Skinny! We could finish this. I'm hoping he doesn't have pain res or surge.
Damn. Girl, what?
I wish I knew. No.
Do I take chance? Do I take the 4%? I don't know what Yin Jin is doing over here, but
Do it for the plot.
I'm gonna do it for the plot. Guys!
Wet. Wet. Come back.
I got the 4%!
My gosh, see what happens when you do it for the plot?
I couldn't have done it without you, Kevin. Guys, flip that shit.
Period.
Flip that shit. Do it for
Flip
the
it.
plot. Not the zombie, not Methany coming over here. And the plot thickens.
Methany?
Well, yes, when I'm involved.
That's like Crystal?
Yeah, ever since Ryan called them Methany, I can't stop calling them.
Where-
I'm gonna get
After me.
the needle.
Oh, he's a vaulter, and the plot thickens.
Does he have Bam Bam or no?
No.
You call her Stephanie, I call her Methany. No, that ass Ash. That's what it is.
He vaults like a lot.
He didn't vault at all for me, so that's news. That's news to me. Ryan, can you pin that? Can you pin Ash's comment?
No.
DMS? No, that's not true. Which is the one where it corrupts the gen when a player gets knocked.
Deadlock?
Something happened when you got knocked.
I think deadlock.
Damn, bruh. Just on my ass. Oh, the rock! The rock fucked me up.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Guys, I'm getting caught on everything.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
M2ing is crazy. No. Why did he M2 me and then vault the whole time he's chasing you?
No.
Oh my god, the other two.
I just got sandwiched.
Oh my god, did you actually get by a zombie?
One got me from the right, and then when I was running away, she was waiting for me, open arms and open lips.
An open mouth. I hate this for me. I'm literally getting flipped on rocks and shit.
Running out of time.
Is he after her? He is. Is she going for the unhook or no?
Yeah, she is.
Okay. Let's go.
No.
Yeah, I can't get that.
I'm gonna cure myself and heal.
Alright. Are you being chased already?
Nope. The Yin Jin is. Of course, the Yin Jin comes over here.
I'm gonna go for a unhook.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna just work on a gen. Like, I have resilience. I'm in the tubes.
I'm gonna reset. When you use the needle, do you reveal your place like Wesker
I didn't
or
get
no?
exposed. But I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know if that's how it works.
Yeah, he gets notified? Okay. So the same. Wait for me! Okay, I'm gonna look on this side.
Yeah, he gets. Oh.
Shit. I'm gonna have to go for an hook. Turn it up. I think he gets notified when you open the chest and can't remember if it's basic or add-on. Oh, okay, I understand.
Oh.
Like it was just an
Alright,
add-on.
well, my gen's finished.
I was working on the one near
Shack?
Shack.
Yep. It's corrupt right now.
Oh, when he carries, that's the ghost face one. The zombies are literally making their way towards that area. Is she going for him or no? Yeah, she's going. Fuck.
I'm an idiot. Why did I slow vault that? Well, GG. GG to me.
I don't know if I'll make it over there. Yeah, no.
Oh, you're good. Good try. Good try. We have one gen. That gen by Shack is half done.
Him blocking the fucking window. He's a volunteer. Forgot.
Alright, we're gonna watch you, Kevin. Which is crazy that he's a vaulter, because when he's chasing me, he don't vault.
He vaults hella. But I'm gonna be dead right here. Oh my god.
Kevin, you're better, friend. Good try.
Oh shit. GG. I think they should be able to get out. Oh wait, no, the gen's right there. See you on the other side.
Good try, Kevin. Alright, I'm gonna play one more, and then low-key. It's already 9:30, and I have to open the store tomorrow. So
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine with me. So I could get dinner.
okay, last game, best game, guys. The slurts are taking it.
Mm-hmm.
The slurts are taking it.
I'm starving.
Starvin.
Starving Marvin.
Marvin. Y'all better lock in, divas. Look, we got out the first one, and by we, I mean Kevin. I'm telling you, I think that if anybody had come to try to save me a basement, I would've gone out.
Fuck them. Can feel it in the moment. The shine of secrets. The shine of secrets. Oh my god, the Neo is naked. I was like, oh, we have our titties showing.
Her tits are out. I wish I could have my tits out.
I mean, you can.
Me looking at your story, and your tits are out.
At least my ass isn't out.
Well, it's crazy. Wait, go watch your story because your picture from last night and then your picture this morning. It's so funny to see the transition.
It's the dark to light.
You're like, oh.
You know what? I'm not gonna wear pants at
You're like,
night, but
you're
in the
like-
morning I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you're like,
out.
hey, I can't find my pants, and then in the morning it was like, nah, I can't find my shirt.
Oh
Ew,
my
Fable
God.
Fit Swallower. Okay, okay.
I mean,
Oh, and it's another
who doesn't like a little
TTV.
spit in their mouth.
True. It's another TTV, guys. Let's see if they're live. Nuggy Daddy.
Can I get an SMR titty? Okay, we're gonna make this one count. We better get a good ass fucking. I want a Blight
Oh, you're happy.
or Billy.
Yeah, Billy would be fun.
A Wesker.
TTE.
TTE.
You down
Live,
with
laugh, love.
TTE? Tickle the entity. Truly.
Tickle the entity is crazy.
Tickle the entity.
Tickle the pickle.
Tickle that pickle. Hashtag tickle the pickle. Oh, it's Sable Spit.
Okay, we're just moving on this one. Please not a Wraith.
Sable already in trouble. Sable, oh, is it Legion?
It's not fucking Legion.
It
It
is
fucking
the
is.
Legion. Fucking
Oh, so
bitch.
DC? That's what I was thinking about it.
I stunned him. But he hit me anyway. Nuggy Daddy, please!
You chasing me?
Oh, he came to break the pallet? Does he come after me? He slugs? No, he's going back for the bar.
Oh
Girls,
my god.
Girls, what are we doing?
I got that one.
I got this one.
Jesus. Bye, cousin. Appreciate you.
Bye bye, bye Glitter.
Love
Thank you for
you.
coming.
The fact that we go save. See what happens when we save a pallet?
Like, Luther. He's coming right the fuck here.
No, he's
he's
not. I'll get that hook.
Oh, he's chasing Nia. I'm gonna keep on the gen.
Okay, I'm gonna keep on the Sable.
Keep on the Sable. He went back for hook. Okay, I'm back. Hi, hi, back.
Hi, Hammy.
Oh, Legion, I gotta leave again. Okay, but why did Kevin and I kind of eat the Legion up a little bit? He's in his power again.
Yeah, it's going straight to you.
What a bitch. Oh my gosh! Like, why are you following me?
Get off me, freak! I know, I hate Legion, guys. I'm not a big fan of Legion. At least they have this bomb-ass boon to heal fast. Super boon. Sid,
boon.
super bitch.
The gen in main is so much
And
fun.
Shmaine.
In Shmaine. Should I go for 4% again?
No.
I'm gonna try when you get close.
I'm close.
Not this time.
Like, who invited Legion back? I know.
disable this bitch.
Already in his power. Like, he just uses his power.
It's just too much.
I want to get that
Too much
gen done
magic.
in Maine.
I'm on my way there. At least it's not that in a Legion.
It's Ruin?
Yes, Bam Bam?
Yeah, it's Bam Bam. Idiot.
I don't think it's Ruin.
Oh, the gen just started regressing when we got off it.
He probably has that one where you look at the gen and then you regress.
Oh, sir, turn back the clock?
Maybe.
Oh my god, he's so fast. At least we got a gen done. He's going right back to you, Kev.
It's almost done. I'm gonna try to take him away.
He's back on my hook, by the way. He went out of power. He lost power.
Do you know where he's at?
No, he went toward main though. I guess to check on the gen. He's coming back over here.
Yeah, he's with me.
Hi, Twin. I missed you so much, Mads. Mads, we played Peak today, and I thought of you so much. I should have asked you if you wanted to play.
Let's rock.
Kevin and I have been duoing today, and I think you would have been great. We did make it to the top, though.
Oh my gosh. Oh, stress the fuck out. I'm gonna be honest. He doesn't
Why
want
is he
that gen to be
already
done.
over here?
Yes, Sable. Yes, Bit Swallower. Let me go save you.
Can I get a whiff? Not
You
that
whipping
time.
you IRL. Made you come out of your power.
I want to get that gen done. Honestly, I'm just gonna do this one, low-key. Hi, Twinny. How was Peak? How are the DBD games? This is our last game, actually, friend. DBD's been a lot of fun.
Is he on your ass?
He's on the phone, on the Nia, who's on my ass. Like, what do you want from me?
Not 4 gens.
Yes, Nia. Because why is he being weird? Why is he tunneling me? Nia has no hooks and he's not going for her. Like, what? Why would you go for
He
me?
picked her up now.
Yeah. This game has not been that great, but we had last 2 games were pretty fun, even though we died.
Okay, I'm gonna die here. Okay. Choosing to play Legion is the weirdest part of all. That part. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I think I hate twins more. So honestly, I'm so ready to eat food after this.
I'm coming, Kevin.
Sable's here.
Oh, Sable's on you? Good, good. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back to the gen.
Literally protect the Sable at all costs.
Oh my god, Legion's just coming after me. Why doesn't he want the Nia?
The next person he hits going down.
I know, I'm hiding. Their power is so dumb to you. Yeah, like, I think that...
Oh, he looked into it.
I think that their power is such a crutch.
Huh.
He literally looked at my light.
I need to mend myself.
How is he on me?
Where are
He
you?
hit my gen. I'm by Shaq.
I see you.
He literally got off his power so he can kill me. Sorry, Sable girl.
Me here too.
Fuck, I think I ran into a dead zone.
I'm gonna hit the gen. He's on Sable. I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't mean to bring him over there.
No worries. I just want to pop at least one gen.
Well, we did, but... Can you work? Well, here, we can heal over here, maybe? On the boom.
He's mooring her.
That is so nasty.
Okay.
So nasty and so rude. He's big mad at me for some reason. No, like, he wants me dead. Are you watching, Legion? Be honest. Now Nia's dead, about to get Mori'd. I think I brought Hatchet Shack. I didn't. I brought Lips. That's probably why I was able to.
You brought your lips?
Here,
Your
come here,
labia?
Kevin, behind you.
Have fun finding Shaq. Finding Hatch.
W labia. Put a 1 in chat if you're playing Legion and in chat. 0.
GG's. Mori me. Get me out of this match, please.
Is he doing it?
I don't know, he kind of stood still for a little bit.
Is he doing it now?
No, he's just left me here. He's looking for you.
Yep. Fuck you, ho. Oh, I wish you were closer to me. I have Wigless.
Yeah, but I just want to be out of this game. I don't want to do 3 gens.
I know, but you can mess with him. Breaking all my pallets, by the way.
Okay, put on your Heelys.
Anyway. And just like that, abandon the match. Go play with your toys, Legion. Oh, man. Well, that was fun.
Well, thank you for the games. I appreciate you.
I love you, Kevin. You're the best. I appreciate
Love
you
you,
too.
love you,
Thank
love you.
you for giving me your time.
Of course, always.
I had
Always
so
love
much
playing with you.
fun. I love playing with you. I'll text you.
Yes.
Bye, friend. GG's friends. Yes, GG's. Thank you so much for coming to stream today, guys. Kevin, thank you for coming and hang out with me. We still have share chat, but thank you all for being here. I have to. How do I end the share chat? Oh, he already did. I think he did already. Okay, cool. Let's see. Who are we gonna raid out to? Oh my God, Stealthy's on? Wait, let's go raid Stealthy. Why the fuck not? Love you, twin. Good night. Bye, Matt. I love you so much. I'm gonna text you this week. I'm gonna text you this week for sure. Guys, let's go hang out with Stealthy. I love you guys so much. Thank you, Ryan. Copy that raid message. And let's go hang out with Stealth. I'm gonna be quick about this because it's kind of late and I'm ready for bed. But I'll talk to you guys soon, so soon. And I'll see you